Hey there, welcome back. Today's video is going to be my bronzer collection. I did a Instagram picture of almost all of my bronzers, the bronzers that I, have in rotation and use. And someone asked if I would make it into a video, so here it is. It's pretty much my entire bronzer collection, I think. I have quite a lot of bronzers. I didn't always. I went through a phase years ago when I worked for MAC, like in my early 20s. I loved wearing bronzer. I'm like, just put on the bronzer, even though I'm super pale. I didn't even mind when it was like a little bit orange. I'm like, I don't care, I love it. And then I went kind of away from that, and I still kind of like being fair. I rarely ever get super bronzed by the sun anyway. I don't. So it would always look weird to me if my face is really bronzy and the rest of me is like ghostly. But I have found some that I really enjoy. I did a post last summer of like great bronzers that work well on fair skin, and just by my experience I really enjoyed them. So I figured I would just do a video showing all of my bronzers that I have and when I use them, and my thoughts on them, and yeah, that's it. I have quite a few, like I said. I use some more than others. I use some like all the time, and we'll kind of go into that. But let's get started. And I have matte, shimmer, mostly all powder. I don't have any cream bronzers, I don't believe. Yeah, I tend to be more powder bronzer kind of gal, but I haven't really found a cream bronzer that I like, though I hear the Chanel one is pretty fantastic. So the first one is the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I have it in the shade Light Medium Matte Bronzer. First of all, this one I would gravitate towards out of all of them. So this, I just happened to pick it up, but this is my favorite out of all of them. And I can smell the chocolate. It smells delicious. I love it because it's matte. It is not too... I was watching a video the other day, and someone was using the medium shade, and they were quite fair, and it looked pretty good on them, and they said that they like it actually better than the light. So I'm, kind of curious to maybe try the medium myself, but I'm really enjoying the lighter shade. So there's no need to kind of clutter up my makeup collection anymore with a bronzer that's almost exactly the same. I like this one, like I said, because it's matte. It doesn't get too orange, brown, muddy, anything. It just really looks nice. It gives my face a little bit of color. It looks great as a contour, and I can add it and it doesn't deepen up immediately. Like, there's some bronzers but I have to have a super light hand with, and this I can have a heavier hand with and not be worried that I'm gonna have to totally buff it out and then my face will be way too dark. So this is kind of foolproof for me. The next one is a bronzer, but I tend to like to use it a little bit more as a blush because of the pink in it, and it's the Sisley. It's so pretty. I mean, it's like, it's hard to see there, but the pattern in it is just so beautiful. And it is the Orchidee, L'Orchidee bronzer. It's a blush and a highlighter, but obviously you can tell it's a bronzy shade, so I call it a bronzer. But because of those peach kind of ribbons going through it, I like it better as a blush color. And it does have some shimmer to it. This one I have to be light-handed with because it will come out quite pigmented. But I really am enjoying this bronzer. It gives like great, beautiful, flush, peachy glow to the cheeks, which I think is just absolutely beautiful. Not to mention, I just like to stare at it. I mean, sometimes what makes using makeup so enjoyable is just looking at the product. That is a huge part of the makeup process. And if a brand doesn't think so, then that brand is wrong, because half of the experience using a makeup product should be pleasurable, and that includes the packaging and the branding and the smell. So, I mean, there are some products out there where the packaging is not so good, but what's in it is just solid. But I enjoy when the brand brings it all together. Okay, next one is another favorite, if not holy grail bronzer, and it is their Guerlain 4 Seasons Terracotta. And this, I have the shade 00 Nude, and see how it has that pink kind of pop right there? I don't know if you can see it. It's hard and the light's washing it out. So, but it doesn't look as pink, let's say, as the Sisley one. and I really enjoy using the Guerlain one kind of every day, all over my face. I mean, not all over. I tend to use bronzer here, on my cheekbones, maybe sometimes on the chin, or on the apples of the cheeks, but never anywhere else. Not on my nose, not on my, you know, like jawline, no. But I love this one because the texture is so smooth and it blends beautifully. Like, doesn't get caught on any dry patches or oily patches. It just glides right on and never looks muddy. And the thing I also love about the Guerlain Four Seasons is they make it in a huge wide range of shades. So pretty much anyone can find a color to work for them. And that's what I love. Sometimes bronzers, you know, brands put out bronzers and it's good for only like one subset of skin tones, and that doesn't work. So I really like that Guerlain one because there's pretty much something for everyone in there. Next is a popular one that everyone's been talking about, and I really enjoy it too, the Charlotte Tilbury Sculpt, and it's a Film Star Bronze and Glow Sculpt and Highlight. So here's the bronzer here and then the highlighter here. I like to use this bronzer as a contour a little bit. It is, I have to be very light-handed with it because it will go on and all of a sudden I'll be stuck. If I put it on too heavy and I like it just gets stuck and I can't blend it out, then it's a mess. So I do have to be light-handed with it and really build it up. It does have slight shimmer, like slight, and it's really nothing that significant. The highlight though, however, is really quite shimmery. I use it a little bit, just I have to really just dab my brush in it and just kind of run it along my cheekbones. I can't get too far into the center of my cheeks with the highlighter because of the shimmeriness, it will really showcase my larger pores throughout here and my oiliness, and it's not so cute. But I've really been enjoying this. I've been reaching for this a lot over the past few weeks, and it is one of her, you know, star products. So if you haven't tried any Charlotte Tilbury products, I would highly recommend kind of starting with a few different ones, and this is one of them, ones that you should start with. I did a post actually on kind of it was like 5 or 6 Charlotte Tilbury products that I had been using and really, really enjoyed. And I actually did a makeup tutorial a few weeks back, so be sure to check that out. Next is a bronzer from Chantecaille. It's kind of my fingerprints all over it, I don't even want to show it to you, but it's a mirrored compact, and the color is St. Bart's. So it's really, really fair, and it does have some shimmer to it, so I like to use it, not necessarily as a contour, but really just kind of on the cheeks to give like a nice glow. If I'm extra oily that day, for whatever reason, I might skip this just because of the shimmer, but I do really love this bronzer. The texture is really nice. Chantecaille in general makes some great products. I swear by their eyeshadows. They have an option to make your own palette, because it's just like an empty palette and you can fill it in with the little pans. I did a blog post on that as well. They are just fantastic, beautiful. I'm wearing one of the Chantecaille lip cheeks today, so I really love the brand. Next is a bronzer that I've had for a long time. I used to use it a lot until I found better ones. And it is the MAC. This is from one of their summer collections, the Sun Dipped. But I've also used like the Refined Golden, which is their standard bronzer. I've also used the Matte Bronze. I've used almost all of them. I really loved Refined Bronzer, the Refined Bronze from MAC years ago when I really liked a bronzy look. And it tends to go a little bit orange on me too, and I didn't mind it at the time. I haven't reached for in years. I think I actually recycled it and back to MAC'd it. This, I don't use it as much anymore, to be honest with you. Like, if everything else, sometimes I'll just grab it because it's just, maybe it happens to be in the drawer and I just grab it and throw it on. I don't love it. It's not awful. This is actually the Pro Long Wear. I don't really notice whether I saw that it was long wearing on my skin or not, because I just didn't really love the texture. So that's that. I've just found so many other bronzers, and I used to have so much MAC makeup because I worked for MAC years ago, and I had so much MAC product, and there are definitely fantastic things with the brand, and I've come across, you know, some lipsticks that I love here and there from the collections, newer collections. But on the whole, now that I kind of tried so many other brands, I used to only exclusively use MAC. I was such like a diehard MAC fan. And then my kind of world opened up to all these other brands over the past like 5 or 6 years. And I stopped using as much MAC and really kind of broadened my horizon when it came to other makeup brands. So I still have a lot of MAC in my collection, and it is really good for, especially when I really want like a full beat look. Just can't go wrong with some MAC eyeshadows, MAC blushes. But I'm excited to kind of incorporate a lot of other brands into my routine as well. Including this one. This is Kevyn Aucoin. This is the Tropical Days. Oh, love that. Look at that like ombre effect. Oh, love it. They also make a Tropical Nights. That's really intense. But the Tropical Days is really nice. I do have to use a very light hand with this again. As you can see, I mean, it's a decent, it has some decent pigmentation to it. And it does have some shimmer to it. So I tend to like to use this at night or like in the weekends, not necessarily when I'm going to work, because I find that it can be a little too overwhelming and overpowering, but the texture is absolutely beautiful. I mean, people rave about this bronzer, and there's a reason why. I haven't tried a lot of his other powders, so like his sculpting powder and his candlelight highlighting powder. I've never tried any of those, so I feel like I'm kind of like missing out. But I hear that the old formulations of those powders were much better than the new formulation. I don't know. If you've tried them, just let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear if you're digging them or not. Next is a cult classic, and it's actually a duo pack for me, but I tend to just use the bronzer, sometimes the blush, but it's the Nars Laguna. This is in a duo with, I think, Desire blush. Laguna is just a classic. It's not too shimmery, it's not too matte, it looks beautiful in so many different skin tones. I do have to be light-handed with this because it can get really bronzy on me, but I've always really loved Laguna, and it's kind of like a safe bet if you're looking for a new bronzer. And just knowing that it will, you'll 9 times out of 10, if someone hasn't used it before and they use it, they're gonna like it. Got 2 more left. Next is, I'm gonna do this one from Eve Lom, and it's kind of their, it was kind of like in a little brush, and the bronzer comes out through the brush. Talked about this before, really enjoy this one. I use this one more as a blush rather than a bronzer, simply because it does come out quite strong. The color can be a little orangey, so I like to use it more as like a glow to the cheeks rather than a bronzer. And normally what I do is I just kind of tap a little bit on my hand and then kind of work off of that, because if I use the brush, sometimes the powder can come out too heavy and then it's like stuck right there. And it's just like, bam, and then you're not moving it. Like no matter how much I buff it out, it's not going anywhere. But I really enjoy this, especially if you have kind of really medium tone skin or even olive skin. I really think this would be gorgeous on the skin. Looks good on fair skins, but I can imagine like on a really kind of more olive complexion or medium tone skin, it could look really, really beautiful. Last one is the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Powder in Bronze 02. Love this stuff. First of all, the baked formulation of this is heavenly. It's so light and so finely milled. It's very powdery, so when you put your brush in it, the powder's gonna go everywhere, so just get that out of your system already. But once you get past that, it's just stunning. And they make it in a few different shades. I hear the Matte Radiance, the highlighter though, is mind-blowingly beautiful. I haven't tried it, but I hear it's outrageous and like cult classic status. But I've been enjoying this a lot as well. And I like to use it not necessarily as a contour, because I find that it just doesn't kind of wear well as a contour, but really just completely on the whole cheek there with like a big brush, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I could dust it probably even over my forehead and maybe just like a little bit, you know, down on my chin. Sometimes when I do that, just like a dab, and it really won't darken up too much, which I like. Sometimes bronzers will really oxidize, and then I end up with like a line. I'm like so pale here and so bronze there. It's not cute. So that's my bronzer collection. Hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna try to do, actually I've pretty much swatched most of these on the blog. So head to the blog, search for their names. The swatches for almost every single one is going to be on there. And of course I'll link everything, all the products that I listed with their links down below in case you need any more information. And I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.